Okay, cool. There we go. Um, but yeah, I was gonna yeah. So I mentioned I know I caught. Thank you for joining the chat last week too, because that was really fun to get your quick hitters on certain things and cereals and fries. Like it was pretty cool. And um, the Checkers fries is one I've been trying to get at for a while. They call them rallies in California. It's like that's one I want to check out pretty soon because they look great.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have them with like just ketchup, or can you, or do is there a recommendation? Like, do you go like ranch or?
I eat them just the way they are. I don't really use ketchup or any other dipping sauce. I eat them just the way they are,
Oh
and
man,
they're fire just like that. But it's basically a personal preference. But
yeah,
I like them just the way they are.
yeah. No, I mean if they're good, if they're that good, and this is my opinion on deli sandwiches too. Like if they're that good, you don't need other shit on it. Like it just have it. It's great. Like a really good pastrami sandwich. Like you
Mhm.
you. I mean, I would put mustard on it, but but you know what I mean. I don't need lettuce and tomatoes and stuff. Like it's that good. So but yeah. Hey, what's going on, Robbie? And what's up, Tina? It's nice to see you. Robbie says, turns out the Checkers fries I got rid of the curly ones we found today. That sucks, but only the spice ones now. Yeah, that was. I know that was an option for a while. Tina says, "Oh my shirt! Oh, the What About Us shirt. I did like that. You included that for the promo we did on Instagram. Let me go ahead and start us up already. My iPad is not available at the moment, so we're gonna come in. We're gonna come to you a little dry to start. But let's say hello. Hi, I'm Davey. This is the Sandwich, and it's good to have you back. We have a bonus Q&A tonight, and for the bonus Q&A, we are very thrilled to bring on to for all of you our guest tonight, who is also a podcaster. He is the host of the No Spots podcast and has been for quite some time. Recently, they completed episode 272. Do I have that right? Did I get?
Yes.
Oh, right. Nice, nice. And of course, we speak of our friend Champ. Champ, welcome to the program. How's it going? DC People's Champ is our guest tonight. Uh, Hello, welcome.
Since I'm the wrestling guy, I have to do this because it wouldn't be right if I didn't. But finally, the champ has come back to the sandwich show.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's everything to me. I love that. Thank you, champ. I do appreciate. I'm gonna tell you. I bet you would if you were to guess who my favorite WWE wrestler is all time. I'm sure you would guess it, like in one guess. But who would you guess is my favorite, like all time WWE guy?
Uh, I'm taking a stab in the dark. I'm gonna say you might be. I want to say The Rock because I just did The Rock's gimmick, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Another good choice. What is it like? Steve 314 says, "I just kicked your ass." That's great.
Classic,
Oh, it's amazing.
classic line.
It's amazing. Or is it Austin 37? Right.
Austin 316 says, "I just whipped your ass."
My
I remember
favorite.
watching that promo live, and I was like, "This man has arrived."
So good. It is The Rock, yeah. And this the ultra extra connection of he's being from LA, I'm from LA. I'm like, it all makes sense. It was all perfect. It was really great. And it's really cool. I remember watching The Rock when he was just The Rock. He wasn't a big superstar in movies yet. He was just the wrestler. And it was really
Yeah,
cool to see his promos and everything. Like just a special time in wrestling. And I think a lot of us like talk about the Attitude Era and just how much fun it was. Just so many storylines, and it was the shit between the matches. I think that might have been the best part. Like it just like all these skits and stuff, and people beating each other in the grocery aisle.
let me tell you something. Like, there's been so many wrestling fans on social media and on the internet that's been like, "Yeah, bring back the Attitude Era." Honey, no. There are a lot of things that happened in the Attitude Era would get WWE canceled today.
Very, very true. No, that's fair. That's totally
Like,
fair. Totally fair.
you can't go on live TV and simulate cutting somebody's dick off. That just ain't happening. That you will get canceled in 2025. It will happen.
That's fair. That's totally
You
fair.
can't have a 30-something-year-old man have an affair with a 70-something-year-old woman and she gives birth to a hand. That just ain't happening in 2025, ladies and gentlemen. It's not happening.
That's true. If they had made an attempt at that, they would not be able to commit. That's fair. It's totally fair. But we can certainly sidestepping those parts of it. You can appreciate what it did and was really it was truly the moment, at least for me, for just as a casual fan of wrestling, it really did seem like the moment that it modernized the sport. Because I think the pre-Attitude Era we know well too, and it was cool, but it did make it like a really fun event for adults. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of neat. Like I mean, if you put that in perspective and see where it's come from then to now, which is really global. You've got other leagues. You have NXT. You speak frequently about the action overseas. I mean, there's a lot going on in pro wrestling. I mean, would
Yeah,
you?
you see, I'm wearing my Bullet Club shirt right here. New Japan
Nice,
representing.
nice, nice, nice. I love it. Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack, right? I mean, how would you describe the evolution of the sport since the Attitude Era? I mean, it's definitely gone to a lot of different places.
Yeah, so I mean, the Attitude Era definitely put wrestling on a different stratosphere, especially because during that time there was the Monday Night Wars, where it was WWF versus WCW. WCW was kicking their asses in the ratings for 86 straight weeks, which is why Eric Bischoff, who is the current, who was the president and executive at the time, his podcast is called 86 Weeks because it showed that for 86 weeks, WCW was the number one promotion in wrestling.
Wow.
But then WWF took over, and then the Attitude Era happened, and everybody started coming over and watching WWF. They were getting 5 million viewers per week on USA Network. Then the Attitude Era shifted to the Ruthless Aggression Era, where
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't as edgy as the Attitude Era, but it was still adult oriented. Though there is one storyline off the Ruthless Aggression Era. Me and Sif actually brought this up on the podcast that we just did, where
Mm-hmm.
we talked about Triple H going into the Hall of Fame as a solo, as he's already in the Hall of Fame as part of D Generation X, where I said Triple H, anytime he's been part of a storyline, it's always been a hit, except for the Katie Vick
Yeah.
storyline, which was a huge miss.
Oh wow.
That was a huge miss, but Ruthless Aggression Era was still adult oriented, it just wasn't as edgy as the Attitude Era. And then you come to the era, the PG era, as we all call it, where they, they wanted to attract more sponsors. They wanted to attract the younger generation, the younger audience, kids. So the content got really almost no edginess to it, and it was very very clean and very very children oriented. They stopped doing blood, they stopped doing all of that stuff, and a lot of the older WWE fans, myself included, kind of tuned it out because we were used to the blood, the guts, the gore, the nudity, the edginess, and we weren't getting that, and it was just the same old stuff every week. And so I know I tuned out from WWE for a good 2 years until The Rock came back the first time in 2000, when The Rock came back in 2011 to host that year's WrestleMania. And it's a funny story about that. I was actually out because this was Valentine's Day 2011. I was single at the time and I was miserable. So I was out at a bar doing karaoke, getting drunk as hell because I hated Valentine's Day at the time.
Oh, for sure.
And I woke up the next day and seen all this stuff about The Rock returning the night before, and I was like, "Damn, I'm at a bar getting drunk, being miserable, while everybody else is all booed up, and I missed The Rock comeback. Like, what the heck is wrong with me?" Thankfully, I think I recorded it, and
Oh,
I was
okay.
able to watch it
Yeah.
and whatnot. But when The Rock came back, sooner or later, as the years went on, they started to get back more into the adult content part of the other thing, and now they're kind of more into the adult content. Like at the Royal Rumble, KO bled,
Mm-hmm.
and in that ladder match, and they're using blood a little bit more. Just they're not using it as often to make it so that it's more impactful since it's been so many years. And so wrestling has just evolved so much over the years. And then you bring in AEW, which is supposed to be the alternate for what WWE is providing. WWE's been considered sports entertainment, where AEW is supposed to be pro wrestling, and then you have TNA Impact. You have TNA, which went through several name changes over their 20 years plus years they've been in existence. They were TNA, then they were Impact, they were Global Force Wrestling, then they're back to Impact, then they're back to TNA. Yeah, New Japan Pro Wrestling over in Japan, which is starting to establish itself here in the United States with strong, or with the strong wing of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Hmm.
You have MLW, you have GCW.
Yep.
You have so many different indie promotions that are starting to get on a bigger stage. And it's just wrestling over the last post pandemic. Post pandemic is the best time to become a more than casual wrestling fan, because there's so much wrestling to consume out there,
Hmm.
not just the big three that have TV deals. There's other wrestling to consume out there, and there's easy ways to acquire it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that when I was coming up watching wrestling. You only had WWF, WCW, and you had ECW, which up until 1999 didn't have a TV deal. You had to like wait for pay per view in order to watch it. And so it's a far cry from what it was when it was just those three promotions to now, where you have another big three of promotions: AEW, WWE, and TNA, and then you have all these other little promotions around it. So it's incredible. It's an incredible time to be a wrestling fan, honestly, because it's so much out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know, it's it and what's really cool about the sport of wrestling, you can build yourself around these big events, and you mentioned it on your last podcast. The countdown to WrestleMania starts this month, and we had the Royal Rumble. Before the Royal Rumble, I know that Sith and yourself made some predictions on how on what was to come. As you watched it, how did those predictions go? How was the Royal this year?
The Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble was miles better than it has been the last couple of years. You had some great surprises in there. Trish Stratus, the Hall of Famer, showed up. She entered the Rumble. Alexa Bliss swerved everyone. She made it seem like she was home with her daughter, but nope. She showed up.
Wow.
She showed up. It was in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Nikki Bella, another Hall of Famer, was the 30th, which got a huge pop from the crowd. But I think a lot of other wrestling fans watching around the world were kind of a little bit disappointed it wasn't Becky Lynch or Masha Slamovich, who's the current TNA Knockouts World Champion. Every year for the last couple of years, the TNA Knockouts World Champion has made an appearance in the Royal Rumble. On the men's side, of course, you had Jay Uso winning it, but you had Jacob Fatu and Roman tied for the most eliminations in a men's Royal Rumble match. The
Mm-hmm.
women's Royal Rumble match, you had Roxanne Perez set a new record for the longest time in a Royal Rumble match for the women. She was in there for 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 47 seconds.
Whoa.
She came in at number 3. She
Okay.
was the third woman that entered the matchup, and she lasted the longest, though she was the last to be eliminated. She was the last to be eliminated by Charlotte Flair, who ended up winning, was the winner of the matchup, who came in at number 27. So you have that. Nia Jax now is the record holder for most eliminations in a women's Royal Rumble match. She eliminated 9 women in that matchup. She eliminated Io Sky, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Naomi,
Yeah.
Zelina Vega, Stephanie Vaquer, Trish Stratus, and Raquel Rodriguez, and Nikki Bella before she herself was eliminated in the matchup.
That's a heck of a run. I know Nia Jax has been part of the. Now I think we can consider Nia to be a veteran of the sport, right? Because
Yes.
she's been around a bit now, like maybe about a dozen years at this point.
She's been there for a while. She started off at NXT.
Yeah.
And then she moved up to the main roster. She's been a women's champion a couple of times. She's been a tag champion a couple of times. So yeah, she's definitely a veteran of sport. And this is actually her second run in WWE. She actually got released in 2021
Oh wow.
and was gone for about a few months, and then she came back, and she's been on this great run in her second run since she returned in
Mm-hmm.
2022.
No, that's sweet. That's cool. That's cool. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I know Naya's game for the most part, and it's cool to see that she did really well. That's great stuff. Saying hello to that E flat guy. Welcome in. Can we give a shout to E flat, who says, "Yo, it's Davey and the People's Champ lurking while driving. Right on. Enjoy your lurk. Hope the drive goes well." I've been saying to everybody, stay warm.
Appreciate you.
It is really cool to see it. Hey, Stuart, welcome in. Stuart, thank you for your 27-month resub. It's good to have you back, my friend.
W.
Damn it, I got the start time. No, it's all good. I mean, we earlier start tonight for us. It's all right. It's all set. Interestingly enough, champ, I was just like one of our friends, Cover Time Pete, a huge fan of pro wrestling, huge fan. So he mentioned to me when I did the promo on Instagram, like he messaged me and said, are you guys gonna be watching Raw like while we're doing the spot? And I'm like, I absolutely think Champ is gonna watch Raw during our spot. So.
Oh, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, I figure it's on right now, right? I could tell.
It was funny. I was actually watching last week's episode before this one started. So just to catch up on what happened last week. I was watching it live last week, but I was also doing Sports on the Hill podcast. I actually got to the point where it was the promo between Cody and CM Punk, and I was like, "Crap! The new one's about to come on," so I had to stop it. Otherwise, I would have kept watching it because I wanted to hear what they had to say to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm definitely watching it right now, and it's a really interesting little promo segment going on right now in the ring with Jey Uso, who won the Men's Rumble last night, and the current World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. On the podcast we call him Walter, which is the name he's had since his indie days.
Oh wow.
I can't. I'm gonna rewatch this tomorrow just to hear what they got to say to each other.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So yeah, keep us posted if there's any juice in tonight's telecast. Like that'll be really fun. But now I've come to realize that you probably do this every time you go on Robbie's show too, right? How long does that usually run? It's like a solid 2 to 3 hours, right?
Yeah. Robbie blames / credits me for bringing him back into the world of professional wrestling. Again, it depends on who he talks to. If it's his wife, he blames me. If it's anybody else, he credits me. I'm just kidding. I love Robbie. Robbie, I love you. You know that. But yeah, he got back into wrestling, and so he's made it a thing, especially to keep me engaged in Sports on the Hill.
Yep.
When the Commander season ends, and we stop talking about the Wizards because they're absolute garbage. So he's incorporated now. I come in and I talk wrestling and stuff like that. And listen, I don't mind it at all because I love talking wrestling. I'm a self-proclaimed wrestling nerd. I'm not like a lot of these fans. Like, I try to learn the ins and the outs of wrestling. I've even just a couple months ago, I actually got to be a color commentator, for my first ever independent wrestling show, which was a lot of fun. So I know the ins and the outs when it comes to wrestling, and I just enjoy it so much that I don't mind sitting around talking about it here and then coming back in a couple of hours and talking about it with Robbie. I'll sit and talk wrestling. If someone comes to my apartment, rings the doorbell, and says, "Hey, I want to talk wrestling with you," they can have a seat. We'll sit and talk wrestling for hours. That's how much of a nerd I am.
Oh man, I'm all about it. That's phenomenal. I love that. You can really appreciate enthusiasm for a sport or for anything, really. But that's awesome that you're all in on it. That's so cool. And it's useful. And that's why I think a podcast like the one that you host is so important to our landscape, whether it's on Twitch or whether it's on Facebook, wherever you can find it. You run it a lot of different places, actually. So just look up the No Spots podcast.
Yes.
Now as we mentioned, you've been hosting this for quite a bit. What inspired you to be a podcast host covering this sport? Way back when?
It actually started with another podcast network that I was a part of, Two Sides of the Story. I actually joined them as a podcaster for just general sports, and it happened because one of the guys there, shout out to my man Chills, he was actually hosting a sports podcast, and I just happened to call in. This is back during the infamous blog talk radio days where you can call in and stuff like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so I called in to talk about sports, and they were just so taken aback by my sports knowledge that they asked me to be his co-host. And I was just like, sure. And one thing led to another. Next thing I know, every Wednesday I was co-hosting a sports podcast with him, talking about sports in general, whether it be football, basketball, golf, what have you. We were just talking about it. And then they expanded me to not only doing a sports podcast, but then the very next night, I was doing their music podcast, which was called Mic Check.
Okay.
There you go. And so we were doing Mic Check, and I was doing the music podcast. But then after a while, I was in between jobs when it was starting to really get going, and it was tough. I was doing Lyft at the time, and it was starting to get tough to be able to do Lyft to keep an income coming in because I'm still a new father. I have a 1-year-old son at the time, and it was okay. I need to take care of my business and stuff like that. And so I was starting to take a step back from it because I'm finding myself I'm doing Lyft, I'm gaining momentum doing Lyft, and then I realized, crap, I have to go offline, find a place to park to do this podcast and this that, and the third, and it was just starting to become a bit of a burden, and I was starting to get burnt out, and then I ended up having a falling out with the people who run that network. We ended up having a falling out, and I ended up just leaving and just not doing podcasts for like a year or two. And then Black GOP, God rest his soul, Jason Terrell, um, told me about what he got going on with True Radio Network, and I started to get that itch again to do podcasts. And he told me, he said, anytime you're ready, just let me know, and we got you. He didn't rush me. He didn't say, oh, you got to do it by this. He said, whenever you're ready, just come, let me know. And so, it started off as I was going to do like a leisure podcast about golf and cigars. It's
Mhm.
going to be called Stogies and Strokes. Only problem
That's
was I was
amazing.
also doing. Listen, I
Um,
I can come up with names, brother. Um,
so good.
but um, the days that I was going to record was going to be on Saturdays, but I was also doing backyard wrestling up in Baltimore. And by the time I
Uh,
got back to the DC metropolitan area, it was going to take too long to get set up. I wanted to do it on location at the Tinderbox, which is a cigar lounge out in Wardorf and everything like that. But it just wasn't working out. So that idea kind of flopped. But then one of the backyard wrestling feds utilized Black GOP to do podcasts for their promotion. And they asked me to be like the host of that podcast. And that's what got me into doing the wrestling podcasting, was from that. And then once we stopped doing that, I decided, you know what? I don't want to do a podcast about cigars and about golf. I want to do a podcast about wrestling because that's one of my other passions in life is professional wrestling. And so I ended up starting No Spots Podcast. And, I had my first co-host, Chris Kazama. Shout out to Chris Kazama. My boy, he helped get it off the ground. It was before it was a once in a blue moon podcast, but then once I got him as a co-host on board, it became a weekly thing, and it was on a Friday. But then he had to back off from doing the podcast because he had a job where he worked every Friday night, and it was starting to become difficult for him to be able to do the podcast while working. And I'm still doing Lyft, but then I finally got me a full-time job.
mhm.
But also, it was hard for me because I was picking up my better half from her job around the time I'm doing the podcast. And so we had to back off from that. But then I ended up getting a new co-host, Donnie Wrestling, who I got introduced by a gentleman who also is named Jason Terrell, but no relation to Black GOP, but he knew Black GOP. And this guy had never done podcasts ever in his life. So the first episode was kind of shaky for him.
Mhm.
But as we went on with the episodes, he got a lot better when it came to the podcasting. But then he had to back off because he had just gotten a full-time job and his schedule wouldn't allow him to be available on Fridays. And that's when Sith came in.
Oh wow.
And Sith, who had already worked with True Radio, with Sports on the Hill, with the True Radio, True Talk, already an expert when it came to podcasts and stuff like that, and a clear wrestling fan. It just fit, and he's been there ever since. And so we started doing that, and then in 2020, when I started seeing like these wrestling content creators like What Culture, Cultaholic, all these other guys going live and reacting to pay-per-views, I said that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Why not me and Sif sit there and watch a pay-per-view and react to it like they do? And that's when we started the live reactions, and we've been doing it ever since. Though I've had a few live reactions where I have rage quit and ended like an hour in. I remember 2020, it was Impact. It was a TNA pay-per-view, and it was literally one person watching, and it was Sif. And an hour in, it was only Sif chatting, it was only Sif watching, and I got so frustrated that I said, I'm not doing this anymore, and I literally ended the stream. Didn't raid, didn't do nothing. I ended the stream. I went out, because this is when I was living in Reston, Virginia. I went out on my little makeshift porch thing that was outside of my apartment. I lit a cigar, poured me some wine, and I sat out there and drank and watched the rest of the pay-per-view on my phone. Because I was just like, I might as well at least smoke and get drunk instead of sitting in front of just Sif and stuff like that. But it started just so strangely with just me calling into somebody to talk sports, and it turned into 6 years after I first created No Spots. We're here now. We're getting ready to hit season 7 once WrestleMania is done in April.
It's amazing how the time goes, right? I mean, big kudos to you for keeping it going for 7 years. That is a hell of a run, I'll tell you. I mean, I've done a sports podcast, which is now on hiatus for the better part of roughly, I'm going to say 14, because I think the 15th year hasn't been very active. But 14 years was a great run, too. And, I'm not saying it's over, but, I might go back to it at some point. But what I'm saying is to have the motivation to continue to do this week in, week out, year in, year out, that's not nothing. Like, it's great you can keep it going. It's great that you've been able to hang with Sith a lot of that time. Like, your chemistry's great. Like, I've heard you both know your stuff. That is the biggest thing for me. Like, you're not just throwing out hot takes. Like, you actually know your craft, and it's really, you can feel like your passion for it, and it's really cool.
Yeah. I think that's what is the great thing about it, is that Sith is someone. He's of the old school. He was watching during the time of the territories and stuff like that. I got introduced to wrestling in the early 90s, long past the territory days, when it was just WWE and WCW, even before ECW was a thing. And that's how I got introduced to it. And it was absolutely just a fantastic, it was the best thing that could have happened to me, is to be introduced to wrestling, because of the fact that now it's something that I can sit around and talk with people about and things like that. And it's crazy because towards the tail end of 2024, I actually made a proclamation that this year will possibly be the last of No Spots, only because of the fact that there are other fan made podcasts out there that are getting hundreds upon hundreds of listens. There's a podcast that we actually worked with in 2020 during the Speaking Out movement, 3 Count Podcast. Shout out to them. They actually had a fan of theirs bring a sign to Royal Rumble, and it showed up on the camera. And they had been doing their podcast a year or two less than ours. Yet they have fans that have signs at a major pay-per-view. Yet here we are, we're about to be 7 years in.
Oh man.
And we can barely get 2 people to listen to an audio podcast, let alone 2 people to come in and watch a Twitch stream.
Oh, I hear you that.
So I kind of made the proclamation that this could be it if we don't see any sort of improvement in terms of viewership, listenership, things like that. I mean, and so far we actually just had a podcast that actually had 9 listens, 9 plays. So I'm like, wait, okay, we're seeing improvement. Maybe this ain't it. Like, so it's a labor of love. I will say that, because I'm not making any money from it. Sif's
Right.
not making any money from it. We're doing this basically for free. If anything, I'm actually paying to do this because the
Right.
platform that I use, I have to pay a subscription for it in order for it to utilize not only streaming but recording the audio that I can download for the audio podcast.
Hmm.
And the only reason why I do that is because I'm using a very old laptop, which I don't think has the reliability to use things like OBS or anything like that to do the things that everybody else does, in which it can stream to multiple platforms and record the audio that can be downloaded and stuff like that. That's, if I could get like much better hardware,
Hmm.
I think I could get rid of the platform that I'm using and use OBS. And in that way, I can have all the fancy gimmicks that everybody else has when it comes to streaming, like little alerts and stuff like that, and be able to have the capability to record
Hmm.
to take the audio recordings and download those and then upload those and stuff like that. But right now, I got to work with what I have.
Yeah, for sure. I can totally sympathize with all that. I mean, I'm thinking back to like my podcast days too, and I'm like, very same stuff. Like honestly, like I never did have even 9 people watching the show back then. So there's a lot of luck involved, I think, when it comes to people finding you. And so whenever you can get a loyal following, even a small one, I think it's such a blessing. So that's why being on the sandwich show is so shocking to me because I've just never seen anything like it. Like you could go back to my old YouTube channel and see my streams, which had averaged like 1 or 2. We talk about sports, kind of like what although it was kind of a more general sports. It's a little bit like a Robbie show. Like the show I've been doing has been like kind of like a general sports thing. But as you said, sometimes it's not really even about that. Sometimes it's just but a labor of love. As you said, it's great. But I do hope that you people continue to find it because it's good content. That's sort of the point I want to make there. It's like it is
Yeah.
really fun, and I think more people should know about it because like you get into it. Like you come out of that knowing more about the sport than you did going into it. And that's kind of my takeaway. Like listening to the shows I've listened to so far. So,
Yeah. I do have it's funny because I have a lot of non wrestling fans that sort of tune in from here and there.
mhm.
Like my homegirl Sunshine, who's one of my VIPs. She tunes in when she can, even though she has zero. Though God bless her, she doesn't watch sports. Period. So it's no surprise she has zero idea about wrestling.
Yeah.
My homegirl Britt Brad, she's also someone who comes in here and there. Though she's kind of gotten into it a little bit because of Call of Duty having Rhea Ripley as a playable skin, and she used Rhea Ripley as a playable skin, and she's a big fan of Rhea now because of that. Matter of fact, during the live reaction, she actually showed up because of the fact that John Cena, who's one of the most recognizable guys out there,
Yeah.
showed up for the Royal Rumble, and she was kind of hyped up about that, and so she kind of jumped in there with that, and so I do have non wrestling fans who do watch or do listen, and they, tend to ask me. They may ask me, or they may ask Sif questions about wrestling. Sif actually does wrestling Q&A on our TikTok. He actually just posted one today, actually, about a question he got asked and whatnot. If you want to check it out,
Mhm.
excuse me. But he does wrestling Q&A. He gets asked questions on Twitter or X now, and he goes on TikTok and he answers them.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, and I love that's got to be fun watch for everybody that gets to check that out because like you got the passion, you got the unmistakable voice of Sith plus the content, which is all it's just pretty solid. Let me catch up on chat. First of all, let me say hello to Moke Helix. Thank you for popping in tonight as well. It's so good to see you again. And Robbie says, life of a podcast where the numbers go up and down. You just do it for the love of the content. Yeah. Yeah. That was definitely the case. Because, I mean, you're definitely going to feel that, but believe in your content. And I think what, and that's, I think, where you'll get the most enjoyment out of it. Robbie adds, I love your content, champ, and watched the most recent live reaction after the fact, and it was great because I couldn't watch the Rumble live, so I listened to it and then watched the highlights. It was great seeing all the moments where you all popped off.
Robbie, spoiler alert, I'm actually been brainstorming all day today while I was working about going back in the VOD and clipping some of those big pops like Alexa's return, Nikki Bella, Joe Hendry entering the Rumble, the TNA World Champ with Sith. By the way, December 14th, the last episode of the podcast we did in 2024, Sith called it.
He
He said
did.
if Joe Hendry wins the world title, he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. And sure enough, he showed, and he even put a gifted sub on that happening. And as soon as it happened, I was yelling, pay up, pay up, pay up, because here he
Wow.
is. I'm planning on taking those reactions and clipping them and posting them to TikTok. I just need to get the footage of it actually happening and then putting it on and doing it like that.
No, that's sweet.
So
Yeah.
that's something I've been brainstorming. I just need to sit down and actually do it. Just get those clips and download them, and then get the actual footage of those moments happening, and like put it on top of myself and Sith and Sage, and being able to like put that on TikTok and make that like a little series of videos to put on TikTok, or even make it as a compilation and put it on YouTube. Because we do have a YouTube channel. It's just we don't really use it that much.
Oh yeah, I got you. And I think those are always fun to watch. Big shout out to Sith though, because I caught the podcast when he was making that prediction. Well, you didn't. You made the prediction in December, but you cited it again on the podcast on Friday, and I was watching that. I'm like, dude, that's a bold prediction. That was pretty good. Pretty good. Big props. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we clipped it. Usually when I clip Sif's predictions, I just do it just because, but sometimes they don't come to fruition. But something told me this one would, because of the fact that Hendry has had appearances in WWE for NXT. So I felt like, you know what, this could come to fruition. So let me at least immortalize it so that people know, hey, we already knew this was going to happen before the rest of you Bammers knew. So, and sure enough, it was up on TikTok several weeks before, like a couple weeks before Joe Hendry even won the TNA World title at Genesis, which was a couple weeks ago. And then, like I said, before the Royal Rumble on the podcast we did Friday, I made sure to remind people, hey, look, Sif called this. And then when it happened, I reminded people, hey, click, Sif said it already. So
absolutely.
We knew.
You did. Nailed it. I mean, and you gotta when you nail a prediction of that, you throw it in everybody's face. That's the way you do it. I mean, that is fantastic. Fantastic. Let me welcome E-Flat back from Lurk, and I'd like to welcome a new participant to the program in the form of one of our favorite segments. This is that time again, folks. Here we go. Champ, I know this is one of the most anticipated moments of the show. It's Sandwich of the Week.
Okay.
All right.
I was wondering what the heck was going on. I didn't do it.
I haven't done a great job of introducing this segment, because I didn't really explain what it was. But yes, this is every week I present a sandwich on stream. So for this week and our bonus podcast, so 2 for the price of 1. And not only this sandwich, but also the chips, which are really, I've never had them before. So I'll tell you more about it. First, here's the sandwich. I grilled some chicken. I got some diced chicken and made a chicken melt tonight on sourdough. See if you can see that. Yeah, for real. That
looks delicious.
Yeah, it smelled amazing too, champ. I'll tell you, it was really
wow.
Get you some focus in on that, will you?
I will say this though, Davey. In honor of me being on this podcast, I did make myself a double burger with fries.
Oh, really?
Just because I was like, I'm gonna be on a sandwich show, so I might as well make me something of a sandwich. So I took a couple patties I had left over, and I put them on the stove top, cooked them up for like 10 minutes. So they had a slight pinkness to it, so it was like close to medium rare, but almost about medium with some crinkle cut fries. Man, let me tell you how good that was. Dude. That was so good, man.
Phenomenal! I love it. No, I'm glad you had a great meal tonight. That's amazing. Oh, man, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. It's really satisfying when you make it yourself too. Really great. So I'm going to tell you about the chips I have tonight, because this is a limited time promotion by Doritos. These are golden sriracha Doritos chips. I've never eaten these in my life, so I am very excited to try them. Champ, do you want me to do the sandwich first or the chips first?
Do the chip. Do the chips first.
I think so.
I usually eat a chip or two before I even take a bite of my sandwich. So
I love the call. I love the call. So let's try. I'm very curious. This looks really good. It's like it's kind of hard to see it in camera because of the lighting is low, but it's a golden yellowish kind of. Oh man, that's pretty good. It's a little bit like eating Thai food on a chip. I rather like this.
nice.
This is good. Mmm. Not too spicy, though, by the way. These not that bad. Like, if you can do spicy food, you're gonna be totally solid. Even if you can't, I think it's gonna be okay. But okay, that's great.
By the way, speaking of your chat, Tina mentioned that she lives in Reston and we could have been neighbors. Probably. I can't remember. I used to live by. I actually lived by Reston Town Center, Tina. If you know what you should know where that is. But I lived by Reston Town Center for 2 years before I moved to Alexandria in 2021, where I'm at now. But yeah, I lived in Reston for 2 years, and it was very quiet. It was very quiet, but and very serene. I kind of missed it, even though I'm not to say that around here it's like the opposite. Like around here, it's not that bad and whatnot. But I do I kind of miss how quiet and serene it was living out there in Reston. And also the how good it was to live near Dulles Airport as a Lyft driver, because I can go straight to Dulles, get me a nice fared ride out of Dulles to wherever, and really get my night going when I was doing part-time Lyft and stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of miss it.
Aw, I got you, champ. Tina says RTC is close. Nice. Um, and is that the code for Dulles?
What?
What is the airport code for Dulles? Like
IAD.
ID. Okay, cool, great.
Yeah, IAD.
Right, ID. And welcome, Steeman friend. Can you give a shout to Steeman? Oh, good to see you, Steeman. Welcome in. All right, now let's get to the sandwich. You came in just in time. Reston Town Center's RTC. Oh, okay. There, I got a little confused there. All good. Thank you. Yeah, let's eat this. I'm really excited about this. And I don't have any sauce in here because I was saying, like, when your sandwich is that good, you don't need no sauces, man. Just get this in here. This is gonna get all over my lap, but that's okay. Ooh, yeah, that chicken is great. So I have pepper jack cheese, or the cheese. It's a good mix. It's a good mix. This is on sourdough. I might have over toasted the bread a little bit, but overall, this is very, very good. Mm. So thank you, everybody. That's my sandwich of the week. What is this? IAD turned into IUD when your flight is late.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying.
That's funny.
He is not lying at all. Like it could be a dangerous proposition at Dulles when your flight is late. Like I've never flown out of Dulles. Every time I've only flown like 2 times in my entire life, and both times I flew out of Reagan, and I never had a problem with a late flight or anything like that. But I could imagine like flying out of an airport the size of Dulles, where you have not only domestic flights but international flights. That if it gets late, it's gonna be hell, and it's gonna be tires, like kicking tires and lighting flyers type of situation. I can imagine. Just saying.
It's a dicey proposition getting out of there. Maybe so we're getting your flight out of there. You know. DC had a rough time last week, says Robbie. Wow.
Yeah.
So much Maryland DMV lore right now. I love it. I'm not gonna say I know a lot about these areas, but pretty cool. Yeah. That was a wild time. National Airport. Yeah. So anyway, the chips I had were the Doritos Golden Sriracha chips. And I like them. They're really good, and the sandwich is great too. So all in all, good stuff. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Okay. They also don't mistype IADs IED. Feds will be coming to visit. Oof. Ugh. Ciao. Yeah. Okay, got your run, got a step for sure. Of course, Robbie, right on. Thank you so much for popping by, Robbie. Can we give a shout out to Robbie G, who will be on? And I think you're going to be on the spot tonight. You have a spot on with show tonight too, yeah?
Yes, I will be on there later tonight.
Nice, nice.
We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. We're going to be talking about how trash the Wizards are. I'm pretty sure we're going to bring up the fact that Josh Harris, the controlling owner of the Washington Commanders, came out in a press conference today and basically told everybody the worst kept secret in all of Washington sports. The name's not changing anytime soon.
Oh, okay, okay. No, I mean,
Which is not a surprise. I mean,
no.
this team, the Commanders, they've only been the Commanders for 2 seasons, and now they just went to the NFC Championship game. Why would you want to change it now?
Mm-hmm. You caught me in the middle of a bite, but
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Um, what a year for the Commanders, though. Um, it's just really cool to see, like, you're all the people, folks like yourself and all the people in their area rallying around the team again like they used to, and what a moment to shock the world with the upset of the Lions. But having said that, I actually felt like it could happen. And also, one of your colleagues, Carol Porter III, was also calling for the upset. And they kicked their ass in that game, honestly. Like, wasn't close after a while.
No, I mean, one of the things that really stood out from that Lions game was the fact that, that the defense really did what they had to do in that game. Even and a lot of people one of the things that a lot of people said was that when the team the last time they were in that position to be in the NFC Championship game, they had the best defense in the league along with the best offense. So it wasn't like the offense carried or the defense carried. It was everybody was doing their thing when it came both sides of the ball. All phases of the team were doing their thing that year that they won the Super Bowl and whatnot. Though this time around, it was the offense that carried because the defense was like was ranked in the middle of the league in most defensive categories. And so it's basically the offense that carried them to a 12-5 record and a berth in the NFC Championship game and stuff like that. So I think that's what made this season feel so differently was that it wasn't the defense that was the catalyst for success. It was the offense behind a rookie quarterback that no one thought was going to be this good in their first year in the league. And it's like, well, I mean, the kid won a Heisman Trophy in his senior year. He came out of LSU after
Mm-hmm.
winning a Heisman Trophy. He showed that he has the skill and the ability to make it at this level. But yes, we have seen Heisman Trophy winners hit the league and be bust. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people had that in the back of their mind that, oh, he won a Heisman Trophy, but can that translate to the league? Well, the 2024-2025 season is pretty much over after Sunday, and I think that he's proven them more than most of those people wrong, and then some, that he can come into the league and be successful as a Heisman Trophy winner, and his future is nothing but bright. And Charlotte Flair is on my screen right now, who won the Royal Rumble.
Oh, Charlotte Flair in the house. Let's go. Is she doing
I
a
knew she
match?
was gonna win the Royal Rumble. She's cutting a promo. I knew she was gonna win the Rumble. Me. Well, no, I picked her to win it. Sif actually thought Becky Lynch was coming back, and unfortunately, she didn't. I think a lot of people were pissed off about that. But
Mm-hmm.
I knew. I said the moment that Charlotte Flair got announced ahead of time that she was going to be in the Royal Rumble, I said, "Oh, she winning it." Because there's one thing about Charlotte Flair. When it comes to Charlotte Flair, she's hardly ever in a storyline that doesn't involve the top women's championship. So I knew she was going to win the Royal Rumble. So now she could pick either Tiffany Stratton or Rhea Ripley. I'm thinking she's gonna pick Rhea because they're 1-1 at WrestleMania against each other. So they gotta have a rubber match. But then again, a matchup against Tiffany Stratton is the first time ever. But two women whose characters are kind of based off of glamour, and so that would actually be a really interesting matchup right there.
Interesting. Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go. Eva did have a comment on the Commander's name. I like Commanders. Plus, Commander Tutty is a fun NFL mascot. Although Robbie did update that to it's Major Tutty, which says Robbie says that makes no sense because like why not Commander Tutty? Because like it would make more sense, but I don't know. I don't know the semantics.
Well, I mean, Commanders, Major, and then for most people who don't know, Tutty is an urban slang for touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Major makes sense because of the name Commanders, commanding officer, Major. It makes a lot of sense. If you're familiar with the military, like I am, my father was in the military, my godfather was in the military, my grandfather was in the military. I did ROTC as a kid, so if you understand the military, Major makes a lot of sense when you think of Commanders.
What did you mean? Yeah. I got you. I respect that absolutely. But all in all, it's a really cool time, and but thanks for the updates on Raw as well. Pretty cool. Let me see, and also cool.
You know what's funny, Davey? Like, I got so prepared to talk about the Royal Rumble. I got like all kind. Hang on, I'm gonna show you.
Mm-hmm.
I got all kind of notes here. You can't see it because my ring light's like bright as fuck. I got all kind of notes here about the Royal Rumble, and I think I only mentioned like 2 things from it.
That's fine.
But I mentioned the Roxanne Perez thing and Nia Jax. Maxine Dupree spent the least amount of time in the Royal Rumble this year. She was only in there for 1 minute and 20 seconds. So 80 seconds she spent in the Royal Rumble before she was eliminated. Though she was able to eliminate her arch nemesis, Ivy Nile. So there's that. In the Women's Royal Rumble, there were 5 debuts, including Lash Legend and Jada Parker from NXT, Julia and Stephanie Vaquer as well, making their debuts, and BFAB. They all made their debuts for the Royal Rumble on the women's side. On the men's side, it was 4 debuts. So it was a total of 9 people who were making their appearance in the Royal Rumble match for the first time in their careers. So that was pretty cool. Unlike in the women's rumble where 3 women went over an hour in the matchup, with Roxanne being the longest at 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 47 seconds, not one male in the men's Royal Rumble went over an hour. Penta, who recently debuted a couple weeks ago, lasted the longest out of all 30 men. He was in there for 42 minutes and 5 seconds before he was eliminated. And in the men's rumble, Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, who everybody's waiting for that one-on-one between those two, tied for the most eliminations in this year's men's Royal Rumble. They each had 4. Okay, those are all my notes for the Royal Rumble.
Hey, that's solid. Thank you so much for doing all that prep for the spot. I mean, I appreciate you.
The same thing. Anytime I make a guest spot to talk wrestling, I try to prep as best as I can, even though I could go off the dome with a lot of stuff. But things like that, I definitely have to like write down and stuff like that, because after years of drinking and then stopping, my memory's not the best.
I totally understand. But 4 eliminations for each of those folks, I mean, not too bad. I mean, definitely interesting that they didn't last as long in the men's side compared to the women's side, but you know, there's a lot of variables that go into it, I'm sure. But yeah, this is why I have 3 computers. Nice. Let's see. Ralph Guerrero, welcome in, friend. It's good to see you. So, Champ, I know that there is a lot we've talked about food in the past, not just like last week, but like over the years. Like I know that we'll make references to it here and there. So we can get into that a little bit. In fact, I'd like to ask you the question, among other things. So let's get into it. Time for everybody to bring on America's favorite moment. Robbie, what is your podcast about to start? Maybe we should do this first. Yes, it is. Okay. We should do this first then before we do the random questions. So we won't go too long with it because I know you got your spot with Robbie coming up later, but let's do this. I got to do this really fast because I want to make sure Robbie gets to see this. I hope Robbie's going to delay the start of the show by like 5 minutes just so he can see this, but Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's worth it. We're gonna do starting lineup, champ. I know if you've seen it before. This is the opportunity for everybody in the chat to enter the lineup, and we'll announce your name as if you're in a big basketball game. So let's get it rolling. I will delay for this. I love it a lot. I love that. So get yourselves in the lineup, everybody. Let's do this, and then we'll get the things rolling. All right, here we go. Everybody ready? Okay, here we go. Let's go. Oh, I love it. Look at this lineup. It's a good lineup. Nice.
I jumped in there. I had to.
Let's go. Absolutely. All right, here we go. Let's go. Bring it on, everybody. Let's go. Great job, everyone. Great job. Let's get pumped. Some people do that when they get announced. I love it. They do the boxing thing. Yeah. Well done, everyone. And now the starting lineup for your DC's People's Champion Davies eating a sandwich. Sandwich show. Joining us first in our lineup, about to start his own program on Twitch, but waiting until I get his name announced in the lineup. He's a true DMVer and the host of the Sports on the Hill podcast, proud fan of the Capitals, Commanders, Wizards, Nationals when they're good, and other teams around the DMV. Let's give it up for our pal Robbie G, Sports OTHP. And next in our lineup, joining us from just a little bit down the coast in North Carolina, our good friend and the master of perfect pitch and the leader of Ryan's Lions. You can learn so much about music from our good friend Ryan that flat guy. And joining us next tonight, our guests of the evening, a savant of pro wrestling, both far and wide, and local, and also on stateside. The host of the No Spots podcast, our good friend DC's People's Champion. Look at that. Let's go. Woo. Phenomenal. I love it. Next in our lineup, our good friend, been with us since the very beginning of the Sandwich Show, a loyal supporter in the chat. Don't call him upset because I ain't angry. And joining us next in the lineup, also representing the DMV, a good friend of Robbie and Champ, and many others in the area, including our friends here on the Sandwich Show, an amazing mod and sister to Andrea Cannon guitar. Let's hear it for our good friend Tina Rue. And joining us from the Great White North, our good friend, trying to stay warm in the in the Arctic climes of Manitoba. He'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Our pal, the Mod Father, Stuart And lastly but not leastly, joining us and modding our channel and doing so for the better part of the last year and a half at least, tucked away in Grilled Cheese Corner, representing the great music city of Austin, Texas. It's still good to be king, our pal King Doombricker. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binaries, your DC's People's Champion, Davies eating a sandwich. Sandwich show. All right. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, I can mark that off my bucket list. I
Yay!
was on the sandwich show lineup. I'm here now.
I love it.
Now.
I'm so glad you enjoyed. I'm so glad you enjoyed, everybody. Thank you so much for soaking it in, vibing, and thank you for entering the lineup, everybody. That was great. Now, I'm going to give everybody in the chat a chance to ask questions of you in what we love to call America's favorite moment. Well, let's call it North America's favorite moment, because Stuart's here. North America's favorite moment in Twitch broadcasting.
Do the dance. It's time for random questions. Great stuff. Ask us anything.
Hang on. My mom's calling. Go ahead and talk.
Okay, right on. We'll go ahead. Do you want me to mute you at all? Okay. Hang on. Okay. So, well, I think Champ's muted for the moment. I think. We'll pot him down for just a minute. So that actually gives us a chance to mention, before we get into random questions tonight, that we are just moments away. I don't have the poster on me, I don't think. But what I do have for you is a preview of the board. We are going to have the biggest trivia challenge in the history of Twitch on the Sandwich Show coming up on Thursday night. And it will be the super mega trivia challenge coming your way, hosted by myself and our friend Fredane and friends. And we also have captains. We also have the whole thing. It is going to be a really, really fun time. So join us, won't you, here on the Sandwich Show Thursday, February the 6th, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern, for the super mega trivia challenge. It is going to be great. So to help oh my gosh, excuse me, to help preview this amazing event, we have for you the game board. This is what, I forgot. Champ's on the board. Never mind. But this is it's not going to look exactly like this, but it's going to look kind of like this.
The hell's going on here?
I know, it's kind of a mess. I'm sorry.
Like Booker T would say, "What the hell?"
That is hysterical. Oh my gosh. That was meant to be a scoreboard. I don't know. It turned into something else. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that, Champ. But let's get back to...
like me so much on this show, they just put me on the scoreboard.
You're on the Jumbotron.
I've clearly arrived, ladies and gentlemen. I've clearly arrived.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Oh my god. But anyway, check out our Instagram. You can get the entire lineup, and you'll see what we're about to do. You'll get to see the game board in action and so much more as we get rolling here on this this incredible event. So with that, we say thank you very much. And we invite you to ask questions of Champ. Use !question followed by the question itself, and then put that into the chat, and we'll get it rolling. Thank you for the Hydrate Command King, and Champ's autograph just went up a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, listen. I'm just saying, man. Like if I start doing autographs and they go up in value, man, I'm definitely lit.
I'm with it. I love it.
I'm just saying.
For sure. Our guest tonight, by the way, is the host of the No Spots podcast, covering pro wrestling, not just in North America, but also around the world, including the circuits in Japan, which is really, really cool. So if you want to check out more and you want to learn more about the sport, go follow the No Spots podcast. It's available on all the podcast platforms, plus on Twitch for live broadcasts and the live react shows, which we were just talking about a few minutes ago. So, all right, question time. Let me give you one off the top.
Yes.
All right. So you probably saw this last week when we had Kelly Gates and Joe on. So I'll ask you the same question. In fact, I think I may have answered it. So this will be a good refresher then. All right, here it is. Breakfast time. Pancakes, waffles, French toast, or crepes?
Pancakes.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, definitely pancakes. Though I like waffles, but I'm more of a pancake guy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I also, just for the record, E Flat and I are also Team Camp Pancakes, so we are loving your answer. This is great. The only truly correct answer, really, if you really think about it. But anyway, thank you for your response. So pancakes are now up to 21. Have been chosen up to 21 times now. That's pretty good. It's moving up on everybody else. Like, So next we have that E flat guy with a question. Let's go roll it out here. E flat's question is, what is your favorite sports moment / event that you've personally attended and why?
Wow, holy crap! Now I gotta put my controller down and actually think about this. Just off the top of my head, WWF Backlash 2000, when Stone Cold first returned from his neck surgery.
Ooh.
He interfered in the main event of The Rock versus Triple H for the WWF Championship. Triple H was the champion. It was looking like Triple H and the McMahon Helmsley faction were going to once again help Triple H retain the championship. The glass broke, and Verizon Center absolutely went nuclear. It was insane, the pop that Stone Cold got. He came out, he swung the chair around, hit everybody with chairs. Then Linda came out with Earl Hebner. Rock managed to hit Triple H with a spine buster, people's elbow. Earl got in the ring because the storyline was Earl got fired by the McMahon Helmsley regime, but Linda McMahon was the CEO, so she had the power to bring him back. He goes in, counts the 1, 2, 3. As soon as the 3 hit, again, the crowd went absolutely nuclear. It was so loud. So to answer your question, that E-Flag got, that's my favorite sports moment or event of that I personally attended, was that, because just the crowd reaction with Stone Cold coming back after he was gone since Survivor Series of the year prior to have neck surgery. He came back and everybody just went crazy. And then with Rock finally beating Triple H to become the champion, everybody went crazy again. And then they had the whole thing with Rock and Austin drinking beer together and all this other stuff. It was really cool. So yeah, that's my moment.
That's a great moment. Holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was only the third wrestling show that I've ever attended.
Wow.
Was Backlash 2000.
Mm-hmm.
My first one actually was a house show back in the early 90s at the old Capitol Center out in Maryland.
Uh-huh. Yep.
They had a live event house show there, and my mom went and got tickets for them. This is when you can they actually had a ticket master at Eastover Shopping Center. For anybody who's local, you know where Eastover is. And my mom actually bought tickets down there, and my father took my brother and myself to this show. I ended up getting sick eating too much cotton candy.
Oh no.
But I had a blast, and that was like my first show. And then my second show I ever went to was WCW Starrcade 1999 at Verizon Center. It was then known as the MCI Arena. Both shows that I went to in 99, 2000 was then when it was known as the MCI Arena. And I went to WCW Starrcade 99. That was a very infamous event because that was the event that ultimately ended Bret Hart's wrestling career after he took an air kick to the head from Goldberg.
Right.
That caused him a concussion that ended up ending his career.
Yeah.
I was actually there for that.
Wow.
And then of course Backlash, I went to the very a few months later because that was in April. Was Backlash, and I got to go there because I was part of the Boys and Girls Club at my high school. I had just transferred to Ballou Senior High School for my senior year, and I was already part of the Boys and Girls Club during the summer, and it just carried over into the school year. And our director had a hookup to the suite, one of the suites, some of the suites in the arena.
Yeah,
and was able to get us tickets in the suite to both of those events, and so that's how I was able to go.
That's like being in a suite for any event is phenomenal, right? Doesn't it feel like so cool to be to be in that space and get all the fancy?
I was actually in a suite because I actually paid for it this time. I didn't only pay like $80 for it. I was actually in a suite for AEW's very first episode of Dynamite at Cap One Arena back in 2019. And that was absolutely awesome. And it was even funnier because we were in the suite watching AEW. Meanwhile, on the TV in the suite, they had NXT on.
Oh, no shit.
Because this is when NXT was on Wednesdays before they moved to Tuesdays. So we were watching NXT on the TV, and then we were watching Dynamite right in front of us.
Wow.
So it was like ultimate wrestling heaven to get to watch two wrestling shows for the price of one.
Yeah, for real. Like, you didn't miss a moment on that night. That's phenomenal.
No. We didn't.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah,
that
that's
was a
super
really
cool
experience.
Yeah. That's serendipitous for sure. And like, So Ryan, thank you for the question. Really good question. Like, um, and sometimes I get asked that question. I don't really have a good answer because there's so many. There's like it's hard for me to pick one or two out of that. But I've been part of some really historic moments though. Like, um, I mean, and they're not always good. Like the time that Serena Williams in 2015 got upset at the U.S. Open, that was rough. I was in the building for that. Like that was that because Serena was on her way to a Grand Slam, and then like an Italian lady like just up and upset her outright. It was not the history I wanted to be. I wanted to be part of, but but it was history nonetheless. It was crazy. Um, E-Flat says, I was in a suite to see Tom Petty play live a few years before he passed away. That was a neat experience. That is really cool.
God rest Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Just absolutely a legend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I wasn't even into that type of music, but I know who Tom Petty is. Tom Petty hitting the Heartbreakers, man, legend. Legend.
Absolutely. Timeless music, really, in a lot of ways, I miss him. I miss him tremendously, Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. Any more questions, friends? Throw them in the chat. I'd love to get into more stuff. I love all these podcasts you're associated with. Like the one that didn't happen is actually one that's intriguing too. Like I would love to see what your thoughts are on golf. We haven't actually talked about golf.
I think I did like 1 or 2 episodes of it, but after Blog Talk Radio went away, those episodes were lost.
Oh no, that tracks.
So after we got away from Blog Talk Radio, I think those episodes were lost. But I did 1 or 2 episodes, but the audio just didn't turn out right because the internet wasn't working. And that was the problem with using Blog Talk was you had to rely on an internet connection. And plus, you sounded even if you direct connected to it, you still sounded like you were talking over a telephone, and it was just the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah,
that's why I'm so glad that I'm doing it from where I'm at now, because now I actually sound like a proper freaking podcast.
Right.
Not like I'm sitting, not like I'm on, I'm calling on a prison phone or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a good phone quality because I've heard some Blog Talk Radio shows, and it's like it's not even good phone call. It's just like you're stuck in traffic type of phone call for the most part.
This is a random thought that just popped in my head when I just mentioned sound like I'm on a prison phone. Y'all remember Sean did a whole album from prison? Y'all probably don't know who Sean is. He was a rapper. He actually got sentenced to 10 years in jail. I forgot what he did. But during his time in jail, he literally recorded an entire album through the jail phone system while he was in jail.
Dude,
that's he did a whole album all from jail by being on the phone.
That is incredible. That is creativity at its best right there. Like for real. Like that's so like producers were like recording it off the phone and just putting it to tape. Like that's kind of amazing. That's pretty amazing.
Oh wait, E-Flat guy has another question.
Let's do it. Here we go. E-Flat says, do you play any wrestling video games? And if so, what is the best one you've played?
I don't play them currently. I just actually got an alert on my Xbox that WWE 2K24 is now on sale for 67% off. But the problem is that WWE 2K25 is about to come out in a couple of months. So it's like it would be pointless for me to get 24 when 25 is literally about to come out. But the last wrestling game that I played was WWE WrestleMania. I forget which one it was, but it was on the GameCube. I'm aging myself, by the way. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, that was the last wrestling game that I played, and I played that pretty religiously. But I do. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I just got back in the gaming last year. For those who don't know, my father, who's like my biggest idol and my biggest supporter, passed away via cancer back in December 2023. And this past December was the year anniversary and stuff like that. So one of the reason why my father is like a big inspiration for me is like he knows how to take care of his family, and he made sure he set us up, like had a nice life insurance policy so that we could pay for his burial and his funeral, but also have money for us to take care of ourselves. And so my part of the life insurance policy, my share of the life insurance policy, I used some of that to get me an Xbox Series S.
Ooh.
And my first video game system I've owned since I had a GameCube way back when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
So it's been 20 years since I've owned a video game system, and now I have an Xbox. And this coming spring, there are like 3 video games that are coming out. 2 of the 3, one of the 3 I'm currently playing now, which is MLB The Show 24.
Mhm.
MLB The Show 25 is coming out this spring. WWE 2K25 is coming out this spring, and EA Sport PGA Tour 2K25 is coming out this spring.
Yep.
So I have some choices to make
Yeah.
when it comes to what I want to buy and put on my Xbox to play. Do I want to get the Show 20? I'm definitely leaning towards the Show 25 because I'm having so much fun with 24 with the Road to the Show playing as a 2-way player.
Mhm.
Shohei Ohtani ain't got nothing on me. I'm just saying. But
That's saying something. Oh my goodness.
But I'm having so much fun doing that. But at the same time, I do want to get a wrestling game because I want to be able to stream that on our channel and stuff like that. Because I've done video game streams on our channel, but it's mostly been either PGA Tour golf or MLB The Show. I've tried to do Madden 25, but you can't. But apparently, you can't stream Madden 25 directly from a console. You would have to be one of these PC players and have a capture or do a capture card type of thing or something like that. So I've only been able to stream 2 games on there, which is those 2. But I would love to be able to stream a WWE 2K game and truly, show, that we're wrestling podcast and content creation place and stuff like that.
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able to do some, WWE 2K clips on TikTok and stuff like that. So, definitely looking at MLB The Show 25, but also definitely looking at WWE 2K25 as well. PGA, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned you spoke of the praises of PGA last time, the last edition on Robbie's show, and it's like,
Yeah.
I've heard it's a great game. I have friends who are also big fans of golf, and they love that game. They think it's fantastic. The way
It's a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
actually just was playing it just now. I'm playing the FedEx tournament, FedEx Cup tournament, the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. And I just played the 3rd round. It's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
But I would love to see how PGA 2K25 plays, and stuff like that. So that's why I said it's a maybe.
Mhm.
In the pile, especially like I may either get it outright or I may wait till it goes on sale to get it. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. Usually they wait at least 3 to 6 months after it's been out to start putting it on sale and stuff like that.
Mhm. Yep.
So we'll see.
Okay. Well, I mean, keep us posted. It'd be really great to catch the updates on that. Thank you, Efrat, for your other question. Anything new any new developments on Raw?
Well, the New Day just beat the LWO thanks to help from Logan Paul.
Ooh.
So there's that.
Yeah. Logan Paul? Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
Logan Paul's on Raw now.
Well, I was totally not. I did totally didn't see that coming. All right, well, good for him. Good stuff. All right, so let's see. Anything else from the chat, friends? Like, feel free to fire away. A lot of things we can get into. Here's a good one. Like, we get the question a lot about like people, like famous like musicians you'd want to perform on stage with. Assuming you like, I don't know if you play an instrument or if you have a particular instrument you're into, but assuming you do play an instrument, and if you don't, then just imagine you did. Who would you want to perform on stage with if you could pick like an act to be on stage with and just do a show? Eminem. Nice.
Eminem. He's like my favorite artist
Yeah.
of all time, regardless of genre.
Mhm.
And I don't play an instrument, unfortunately. Like I never got into that, which is crazy because my son plays the violin.
Mhm.
And neither me nor his mom play instruments in as kids, but yet he got into it. So, and I was telling somebody about that Sunday when I was doing Lyft. that it's like crazy how my son got into playing an instrument when his mother nor myself ever did it as kids. I played baseball in high school, and his mother was into cheerleading and swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that shit swimming, cheerleading and gymnastics.
Wow.
So we were both like athletic in school, yet neither one of us played a freaking an instrument. Yet my son is playing violin, so it's crazy the thing. So I don't know about an instrument. If I had to pick an instrument to perform with Eminem, it would have to be piano, like what Elton John did
Yeah.
when him and Eminem buried the hatchet. I would play a piano and play one of his songs on piano.
Dude, that'd be phenomenal. That'd be so cool. Another Grammy moment for sure. Like if that happened, I'm calling
That would
it.
be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool. E Flat says, "Wait, Logan Paul has to be a heel type, right?"
Absolutely, is a heel. He's absolutely a heel. He just cost Rey Mysterio a match against the heel New Day. He's absolutely a heel. Here's the thing, E Flat guy, Ryan. They tried when Logan Paul first joined WWE a couple of years ago. They tried him as a heel with The Miz, but he got so over as a face over The Miz that then they tried him as a face, and it just didn't feel right when he was a face. And so they turned him heel, let him loose, and he's been absolutely spot on since he turned heel in late 2022, early 2023. So it's clear that he's destined to be a heel in professional wrestling, and he's doing a great job of it.
See, that's great, and that's some people are just built to be heels. Like I think that's a phenomenal point by E Flat. Like it totally works. Totally works. Like, who is it that we were looking into? Nah, I don't want. We could cover the subject of other celebrities in wrestling, but maybe I'll sidestep that one. But we have seen it attempted before. Yeah.
Bad Bunny was the best celebrity wrestler outside of Logan Paul in the last several years.
Okay.
And I dare anybody to tell me differently. If you look at his performance at WrestleMania in 2022 or 2023,
mm-hmm.
and then his performance at Backlash against Damian Priest, you can't sit here and tell me that Bad Bunny, as busy as an artist as he is, had the time to do training and to get up to speed to wrestling and go out there and put on two great performances. And not only that, but also put on a good performance in the Royal Rumble that he was in as well. So I feel like he's one of the better celeb wrestling personnel that has been in there, mm-hmm. honestly, because he actually went and put in the work to get prepared for this type of thing, and then he goes out and he performs very, very well. So I have to give the man his props. I got to give the man his flowers for that.
No, that's
a lot of these celebs. They get into this wrestling thing, and it's just clout chasing. They don't put in a lot of work, and then they realize that wrestling ain't as fake as you think it is.
Right.
When you get slammed on that mat, people don't realize underneath a wrestling mat, it's a very, very thin foam padding, but it's over top of 2x4s.
Wow.
That crap hurts. Just landing on that crap.
Yep.
Okay? When you get chopped, that crap hurts too. Okay?
Yeah.
So, anybody that's out there claiming, wrestling is fake, okay, get in the ring and get slammed on the ring mat. Or get chopped by one of these grown ass men. And then you tell me whether it's fake or not. Because I can tell you for a fact, I've been slammed on the wrestling mat and I've been chopped. I never thought wrestling was fake, but if I did, all of those reminded me that it's not.
And you probably got the bruises to prove it, right? I love that.
I actually got chopped by two men on my birthday. I didn't feel it till the next day because I was so drunk.
Wow. Dude, incredible stuff. Yeah. And that's the thing. I think, whatever you want to call this, whatever you want to call pro wrestling, it is one of the most athletic sports around. Like, I have so much respect for people who do this on a regular basis. And the one thing that's really wild, and I've never really understood why this is, but they don't get any days off at all. it is strange to me that there's that many days in a row, like even holidays are even performing in certain moments. But um, has that just always been a thing with with pro wrestling? Like, is it just always a 24/7 365 thing?
Well, it was until recently.
Oh, okay.
Recently, Triple H, who's the chief content officer now for WWE, basically he's in charge of like the presentation of the show. He is one of the things that WWE has done even before recently was that they would give talent like Christmas off. They would go home for Christmas and they would like record like either a retrospective show or they would tape an actual show the week prior so that way talent can be with their families for the holidays and stuff like that. But just recently over the last year or two they started recording episodes of like SmackDown the week prior. They'll do a double tape in a SmackDown so that family like wrestlers can be home with their families for Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So that way all they got you'll still get original content, but it'll just have been recorded the week prior, as opposed to getting just a retrospective show or like a countdown of like the 10 best of this and the 10 best of that and stuff. No, they'll do a double taping of SmackDown or double taping of Raw, and then that way they'll do the live episode, and then you'll get the tape one the following week while everybody's at home enjoying the holidays.
That's cool. See, that's cool. That's solid. See, that's good strategy. I mean, at least it's certainly an improvement of over what was done before. So it seems solid.
Yeah. Before the olden days, wrestlers were on the road over 300 days out of the year. There's 365 days in a year, and they were on the road for 95% of that. But it's a new era. That's another point I should have made earlier on in the podcast about the evolution of wrestling, is that nowadays wrestlers are not on the road over 300 days out of the year away from their families. They may be home 200 days out of the year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And back then you did Raw. They would do tape Raw, and then you would have house shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Raw. You would be wrestling 5 to 6 days out of the week.
Yeah.
Nowadays they do live events, or what they used to be called back in the house shows, on Saturdays and Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of cutting down on that as well, because that's one thing Triple H, his career, he didn't really get to see his family because he was on the road a lot and stuff like that. So he's trying, it's one of those situations where it's like, I don't, how you parent your child in the hopes that they grow up and be able to parent either the same or differently and better than what you did.
Yeah.
And that's basically what wrestling is like now. Like, we went from these guys wrestling 4, 5, 6 shows a week and being on the road over 300 days a year to now they do maybe 2, 3 shows a week and they're on the road 200 days out of the year. Or they're showing a replay of I Show Speed getting speared out of his boots by Braun Breaker. You know what I Show Speed is?
No, I don't. I know. Enlighten me.
I think he's some kind of streamer or content creator. He's been involved with the WWE before. He actually got RKO'd by Randy Orton on a table one time before.
RKO'd by Randy Orton.
Yeah, so what happened was,
what an honor.
During the Royal Rumble, the number 8 entry was Akira Tozawa.
Okay.
But he got jumped by Carmelo Hayes, who had just gotten eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
And so they pulled Tozawa out, and then Triple H was like, we need a replacement. And I Show Speed just happened to be standing backstage, and they called him out there to go out there to be in the Rumble. He helped eliminate Otis. Then he's standing in the middle of the ring and decides to show off and do a backflip in the middle of the ring. Braun Breaker was giving him props, but then Braun Breaker took a full sprint off one rope, then off the other one, and just speared the shit out of him. I mean, just absolutely obliterated him. Then picked him up press slam style and threw him out the ring. Otis caught him, and then Otis looked at him and then did him with a fall away slam into the table, into the announcer's table. I was laughing so hard when that crap happened, bro. I was like, wait, this kid just got absolutely destroyed on pay-per-view.
Oh, come on. There's got to be a clip of this somewhere.
Oh, trust me, there's a clip out there. There's plenty of clips out there of it. Oh man, I swear, like I said, that was the funniest crap I've ever seen in a wrestling ring ever. That was so great. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
And apparently, like according to Raw, they just had an update on it. That clip actually has surpassed 300 million views on social media.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. When you're that big a deal on Twitch and then you're part of the Royal Rumble and then that happens, that's going to get some clicks.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And he got hella clicks. Holy crap.
You know, it's funny that Ryan brings up Kai Cenat because I'm like, the only person who I could think of who would look smaller on the ring than it would be Kai Cenat. Because, like, everybody would have a height advantage on Kai Cenat in the ring.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Kai Cenat has been present for a couple of episodes of Raw, and he was actually in the front row live streaming the Royal Rumble during the Royal Rumble, because that's how my friend Britt was finding out what was going on with the Royal Rumble. She was watching Kai Cenat stream.
Oh, that's hysterical. Yeah,
he was front row live streaming it.
Oh, right, because he was he was doing his IRL streaming that. Okay, right on. Yeah. Kai Cenat gets invited to the Royal Rumble by Pat McAfee and sends. Well, this is interesting. I wonder what happened there. And sends.
Well, by the way, Davey says that so many tech issues, Capstop's going to run an extra 10 to 15 minutes. So, you know.
Oh, no sweat. That's fine. Well, we got nothing.
If anybody's got more questions, you know, ask questions. It doesn't even have to be wrestling related, honestly.
Correct. Yeah.
You know,
100%.
it could be sports related. It could be pop culture related. You know, I know stuff.
He does.
I'm 42. I've been there and I've done that. I don't look 42, but I'm 42. They always say black don't crack.
Hey.
Believe them. Believe them.
Amazing. Yeah, but you just going back to E-Flats other comments. It's no different than casting for regular shows as far as heels and faces and so on. Not going to cast for William Dafoe as a sympathetic hero / lead. Absolutely.
No. Mm-mm. If I ever see Willem Dafoe in a movie where he's actually playing a good guy, I don't believe it. I don't.
You're right.
I've only seen Willem Dafoe in movies where he plays the absolute piece of shit villain.
Mm-hmm. He's exceptional at that role. He's built a Hall of Fame career on that. Absolutely. Let's see. E-Flat says, let's see. What a birthday gift to get chopped, right? Like, I feel like that'd be an honor, honestly.
Especially getting chopped twice.
Yeah, for sure. Getting chopped twice is like, that's fantastic. Let me see. Iron Angry says, Davey needs to get speared and go viral.
Yo, Davey gets speared in a wrestling event, man. I'm definitely sharing that. Hey, I know that guy. He just got obliterated. Look at this guy.
I want that so much. I would love to get speared.
No, I'm gonna put it in terms that any of my fans, anybody who's a fan of the podcast would know. If Davey showed up on like Raw, they come out to California. He shows up on an episode of Raw and gets speared by Braun Breaker. It would get a certain mega push of the week. That's definitely getting a mega push. I don't care what anybody says. Watching Davey getting speared by Braun Breaker on TV would automatically get. I don't even care what's said or anything. Just seeing Davey getting speared on live TV by Braun Breaker gets a mega push automatically.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I mean,
that's crazy.
I would live for it. By the way, and I would be coming out of that like, you know what? I made it. I made it. I've arrived.
Hey, King, I wouldn't put your money on Davey. I'm telling you, Braun Breaker's a nasty dude. I don't know if you saw that clip we just played, what he did to I Show Speed. I'm telling you, you might want to put your money somewhere else, player.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate the love though, King. I do appreciate you. Oh my, that is fantastic. So let's see. What else we got? Keep those questions coming. We'd love to get some more questions from everybody tonight. Signature move, sandwich slider. See, that's just a great name for a move, right? Like that's gotta be my move. Sandwich slider is like that's totally it.
But Ryan, what would it look like though?
Ah,
Because if you're gonna call it a sandwich slider, it's got to be a move where he's sliding,
I agree.
so it makes sense.
Yeah. So it's got to be some
You know
form
what I'm
of.
saying?
Yeah, there's got to be some sort
There's
of.
got to be some kind of slide in there in order for it to make sense.
Mm-hmm. Feels like I could pull it off. You know, just swoop in, grab people's ankles, and sandwich slider. There you go. Like it's not an RKO, but it's. I mean, it's still got some pizzazz.
Nah, I know what the sandwich slider would look like.
Okay.
So they will be draped. Their body will be draped on the middle rope, hanging inside the ring, and you come running in, and you slide underneath the rope and DDT them. Sandwich slider. There it is. There it is.
That's fantastic.
Book
See,
it.
This is why you're the legend, man. Like this is so perfect. Like it's perfect.
Oh look, Ryan. Then Ryan asked, "What would my signature move be?" Like that's an easy question. It would be what Booker T called the bookend, but it would be called the right. It was called the right decision. Because my wrestling character name was William Champ Wright Esquire, and so my signature move was the bookend or the Uranagi. It was called the right decision, and then my finish was the People's Elbow, but it was called the DC People's Elbow.
Wow,
I'm a creative dude, man.
That is the People's Elbow like that's got spunk. That's really good.
Yeah, but it was called the DC People's Elbow, so it's kind of differentiate from the original People's Elbow.
Oh, sure.
But it was still, but yeah, that was the moveset I had. I had the right decision and the DC People's Elbow.
That is, yeah. I mean, I think there's enough there to make it an original, to make it your move, right? Like I think it works out fine. Like I don't think it's too much of a copycat. Thank you, E Flat, for your questions.
Oh my God! Read what Ryan just said about what your signature move would be. Jesus Christ!
E Flat says, "Yeah, I'm imagining he slathers himself in mayo and then slides and trips up his opponent to pin him." Oh man! Oh the humanity! Oh my gosh!
That's some attitude era. That's some attitude era shit right there.
Yeah. For real.
Lathered up in mayo and tripping somebody up and pinning them. That's some attitude era shit for real. Honestly.
Oh my gosh. So what is the E Flats move then? Now we gotta flip this question back at you, Ryan. Like, what would you call your move? Like, we gotta hear about your move.
That's what I want to know. I'm very interested to learn what that would be. Honestly.
Yeah. So we'll stand by for Ryan's answer.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Ryan says that's an epic move, by the way. So I love that, champ.
I would love to know what Ryan's signature move would be.
Called,
honestly.
Did you see it?
E Flatner.
Yeah.
No, I'm with it.
That's pretty good.
I like that one.
Yeah. That's a good call right there, Ryan. E Flatner. Okay.
That's a good one.
Solid.
That's a really good one.
I may have asked you this maybe back on a Robbie show, but the question is, what is your favorite sandwich? I've always wanted to know.
My favorite sandwich. Just ham. I'm an extremely basic dude, man.
Okay.
I like a plain old ham sandwich though. Depending on where I go to get it, I like the little relish peppers on it. Like I like salt, pepper, olive oil, and relish peppers on my ham sandwich to give it that kick and whatnot. But I'm an extremely basic person when it comes to sandwiches. I'm not Champ is eating a sandwich, so I'm very basic when it comes to sandwiches. But yeah, I'm a ham sandwich type of guy.
There's a lot to be said for ham, though. Ham is a pretty solid sandwich. Like I like ham sandwiches a lot. It can be really good. So respect for that. I think there's something there. I'll say this. Life can be easier that way too. Sometimes I cripple myself with decisions when I'm at a deli. I'm like, I don't know what to order. I like everything. This is hard. When you like ham sandwiches, that's easy. Just give me the ham sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Ham sandwich, salt, pepper, olive oil, and relish peppers, please. Thank you.
That sounds great. That sounds super great. So, yeah. So you covered pancakes. You're a big fan of pancakes. I think you mentioned your favorite cereal. Oh my gosh, you with the Velveeta. That's a move too. Let me show you. So here is Velveeta. Let Let me see if I can find the appropriate accoutrement to this. It's here. Let me see. But before we get to Velveeta, like, what was your favorite cereal again, Champ? I didn't catch that. I don't remember from last time.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, nice. It's a good one.
Yeah, I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Lucky Charms is my second favorite. Frosted Flakes is my third.
Yeah, Frosted Flakes. I mean, if I have the beans for it, Frosted Flakes are still pretty. They still slap even today. I can totally. It's a lot of sugar, but I can totally do it when I'm in the mood. Yeah. Okay, are you ready? E-Flat says, what's better than a ham sandwich? Ham with Velveeta. I wouldn't know the first thing what you're talking about. No, yes, I do. I'm just kidding. Let's have some Velveeta! Whoa. I did. Sorry about that. Chapter's got headphones on and everything. I may have blown that out. That's it. That's 3D.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you. And thank you.
You got all kind of gimmicks on this. Thing. All I got is me talking wrestling for 2.5 hours. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I take pride in this.
You got all kind of gimmicks on this here.
It is really fun. I got one more.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What's another gimmick you got here?
Well, check it out. You can check the board. I'll give you one. Just tell me what you want. I'll throw it up there.
Let me see what you got
All
here.
right.
Let's see what you got here. We're just killing time here before I gotta go and talk sports.
Yeah.
Oh. What's this one?
Uh-oh. What's this one?
What's this one?
Okay, so when I'm doing a gaming stream, I turn off the sound and I spend a minute making my own sound effects over it. So let's use an example. What game would you like me to try to do sound effects over? And I'll just get a YouTube of it. Let's see. See if I can find over here.
Let's go with Sonic Adventure 2.
Sonic Adventure 2. All right, you're in. Let's do it. Sonic Adventure 2. Let me go get this up here really fast. W, Foch. Okay, let's go. All right, here we go. Give me just a second here. I'm just going to cue this up and wait out the ad, and then we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to first play some of it with the regular audio, just so people get an idea what it's supposed to sound like. Okay, so there it is. There's the game. We'll just fast forward a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay, that's what it's supposed to sound like. Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. Got it? Okay. Whoop. 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 Wait, no, over here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, I think it's good enough.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I don't have gimmicks like that. See? that's probably why only 2 people watching my stream anyway, because I don't have gimmicks like that.
Oh man. But so that's there for anybody that wants to redeem them. And they keep coming up with new ones all the time. There's one called Davey Screamo, which is basically me screaming lyrics to a song rather than actually singing it. It's something I haven't even tested. I haven't even done yet, but it's there if anybody wants to do it sometime. I'm for a music stream anyway. Quick King says quality. Yeah, that game is awesome. Like, you picked a good game. That looked like that looked like a banger of a game there, champ.
It was. I actually got to play it when I owned the GameCube. We actually had that game, and it's a really fun game to play. Mm-hmm. And E-Flat's playing, like, singing like the title track to it, which is "Live and Learn," which is a banger of a song. Oh wow, nice. Yeah, that's like one of the biggest one of the biggest characteristics of the entire Sonic series is that, and I see the redeem.
I'm just gonna take my moment. Let me have my moment before we get to that. But
Oh,
the
God.
biggest thing, is that the music has just been so great. Even from Emerald Green Zone or from there and just the whole thing, like from Sonic 1 all the way through. The music.
The Sonic franchise has always had really, really good music.
Yeah.
For their stages and everything outside and stuff like that. And then as you get to like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, like the music just gets better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. EFOT says, Davey, if you've never played Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, there is an epic soundtrack for it, which I never really knew.
Oh, the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah? Oh, man.
It's amazing. It's so awesome.
Oh, I gotta check it out. Thanks for the recommends, everybody. That's really great. Definitely gotta put that on my playlist. So here is a redeem. Thank you for the hydrate, too. I've redeemed that earlier. For King Dambreaker and also for King, we have the dreaded Bean Boozled. Again.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, I know.
I know what this gimmick's all about.
You've seen this one before, right? You've seen this one before.
Yeah, I've seen people with the Bean Boozle. I know what this gimmick's all about.
Here it is. Bean Boozled today. It's not that bad. This is actually a fairly tame one. This is going to be Stinky Socks or Tutti Frutti.
And watch it be Stinky Socks.
I know. Let's see. Yeah. It's what we've come to expect from this point. Redeem. Okay. Thank you, King. Well done. Congrats, chat. The quick one tonight, though. At least it was quick. Okay. Let's see. If you've never played it, yeah. But yeah, like some of the soundtracks for games throughout the years have been really great. I mean, I think the coolest thing about video game soundtracks is like that you know the music for it and you identify it immediately. So, Super Mario Brothers, obvious, right? You know, Sonic, obvious.
Clearly.
You know? Clearly. Like, did you ever play Punch Out back in the day, like when it was out? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson Punch Out?
Yes. Yeah. Great game. Like, amazing game. Like, the music just gets you fired up. It's like, you know, and the train.
That's the game that introduced a lot of kids to calluses.
Yeah. That's
because you mash the button so freaking hard, you end up developing calluses on your thumbs.
So true. Especially when you're trying to get up, like you get knocked down, like trying to get up. Oh, so good. Somebody forgot.
And also introduces a lot of kids to what a final boss really looks like. We have to face Mike Tyson. And he's beating the crap out of you every single time. You're like, why can't I beat him?
I know. He just punches you once and that's it for the round. You're done. Like that's like that.
Yeah,
just...
pretty much. Pretty much. He just hits you one. All you got, like, that's why, like, you gotta have a strategy. Like, you just gotta keep ducking, dodging, and getting your shots when you can.
Yeah.
Because if he hits you one time, that's it.
I mean,
over.
Like, it was true. Yeah, it for real. I was like, what the fuck? I just got hit once, and it's like game over. It was unbelievable. But I think there was one time where I actually beat it, but asterisk though, because I was using like an emulator, so I got to save the game like at that specific point. So that doesn't really count. But so I've not beaten the game regularly yet. But
another video game that has a very underrated soundtrack is Star Fox 64.
Oh, nice. I've not. You see, I don't remember that one so much. I remember the original.
Yeah, no, I had Star Fox 64. Like a lot of it's all instrumentals, but it's really, really good instrumentals.
That's sweet. Yeah, it's a pretty hype game. I think that's the kind of soundtrack you would expect for it. So I love that it happened. If somebody forgot to do laundry, guess you have to eat it now, and I do. Yeah, stinky socks. Good to wash, not good to eat. Didn't they coin that as a phrase of Nintendo thumb? Yeah, for sure. Because you also would get it for Contra and Super Mario Brothers, and a lot of
Duck Hunt. Well, Duck Hunt, you had the gun.
Yeah, you had the gun. Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for the chat. If you played Duck Hunt on Nintendo, did you try to shoot the dog? If you lie and say you did, if you say you didn't, you're a liar. You're a goddamn liar. Because any and everybody who played Duck Hunt on Nintendo tried to shoot the dog at least once.
Because
so I want to know from y'all who did it. Because I know I did. Every single time if I missed the duck and the dog come up laughing, I'm shooting his ass. Stop laughing at me, bitch.
Because he's such a troll. Like, he's all laughing at you. I'm like, come on, it's hard enough to miss the duck. Like, you know, I totally was shooting at the duck myself. So we'd love to hear your responses in chat, friends. Like, let us know. And let's see. We'll see what they had to say, champ. But no, I'm with you on that. I've asked people throughout the years, like, or because people, I used to wear a Nintendo hat a lot. I still have it, but it's back there. But then I would ask them, what's your favorite game? And a couple people actually said Duck Hunt, which surprised me a lot. Like, I never would have thought that would have been your absolute favorite game out of the NES era. But honestly, it's a really fun game, you know what I mean? But does that surprise you too, that like multiple people would have said Duck Hunt was like your favorite game ever? Like, that's interesting.
Not really. I mean, Duck Hunt was a very unique game.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like really, it was actually a fun game. And so I'm not surprised that there are some people out there that would say that it's their favorite game. At least Ryan told the truth. He said he 100% tried to dog his smug face in game.
There you
I'm
go.
telling you, every time that fucking dog came up, shut up, son of a bitch.
Absolutely.
Like, don't laugh at me, mother. Anyway, but no, childhood memories. I'm telling you.
Absolutely, absolutely. King says, "Man's best friend, my ass for sure." Like, not my best friend, that's for sure. I want to hear Robbie's response to this. So if you get on with Robbie later, like, let me know what he thinks. Like,
I'm definitely asking him. We're gonna have a conversation about that. I'm gonna make sure I bring that up. Make sure I'm bringing that up.
That's so good. So we love it. I love it. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a really fun, like, being able to shoot at the screen is actually kind of awesome. Like, it's like you get to, it's like a completely different type of experience. And that's why stuff like Wii got popular later. Cause it's like, you get to not just like push buttons to bowl, you get to bowl. Like, you just hold the controller, you just like, you just throw it at the screen. Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Son of a bitch, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I even played on the Nintendo the track and field one. We had the little pad on the floor.
Uh-huh.
That was labor intensive.
Oh,
like,
yes.
That's one of those as a kid. If you really want to have a workout, play Nintendo track and field. That'll give you a freaking workout.
Yeah. Your feet would get like, yeah, I did that a couple times. The power pad was a real workout. Like, and it wasn't even like you're running full strides. You're just running like these little steps. So
exactly,
it really wears on your ankles after a while. Or actually, your knee, my thighs definitely felt it at the end of that.
That was definitely an alternate workout when you're a kid. You know, getting on that little pad and doing the track and field stuff. Yeah, no, that's a workout.
For sure.
My best friend had that. And we was over in his basement doing that. And it was a workout.
Yeah, 100%. What has been your favorite game from like each of the if you were to break it down by console? What has been your favorite game on NES? What's been your favorite game on anything else you've owned, like N64, GameCube, anything, any of those?
Okay. For NES, I would have to say my favorite game was definitely Mario 1.
Okay.
Because it was the very first game I ever played, the very first video game I ever played. And so that has a lot of sentimental value. So there's that. For Super Nintendo, it would have to be Madden 64 because it was the first sports game I ever played, and I remember playing my father in that, and my father thought he was going to beat my ass. I ended up whooping his ass. I ended up put up 100 points on my dad, and I never played a sports game ever in my life, and I put up 100 points on my dad.
Oh wow!
So that's also got some sentimental value because that was the first and only video game I ever played with my dad was Madden, and I whooped his ass.
Oh my god!
Let's see, Nintendo 64, GoldenEye. GoldenEye was a favorite of mine, and reason why is because the same Boys and Girls Club that I mentioned earlier, where I actually got to go to those wrestling events, they actually used to have what they call table champions, and one of the table championships they had was GoldenEye, and it was a tag team, and my brother and I actually won the tag team championships in GoldenEye, and we held them for like 2 months.
Yo, that's awesome. That's amazing. That's big time GGs to you on that. Like, that's a tough game. Like, I used to, when I was in high school, My friends and I play GoldenEye all the time. Like we went to one of our friends' house and we did the 4-player, which was revolutionary back then. Like you had 4 people playing
And
at the
that's
same.
how we won the titles. It was in the four player multiplayer mode. It
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't in the story mode. It was the 4-player multiplayer mode.
Dude, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Y'all, if you were there for it, like it was, that is phenomenal, phenomenal.
Listen, that era when GoldenEye came out, you had to be there because that was a movie. That was a time right there.
It was.
Because then you had the popularity of the movie, and then you had the game come out, and the game was like really fun to play.
Oh, 100%. So good. Hey, how's it going? Smile.
GameCube would have to be the WrestleMania game that I mentioned earlier. And then I didn't own a video game system until now, and I don't really have a favorite for my Xbox Series S because I play all of my games. I play the PGA Tour. Usually when I get on and start playing games, I start off with PGA Tour just to like play 18 holes to like chill, have a little chill stuff and everything like that. Then I'll jump into either MLB The Show to do some, to play some baseball, especially if I'm pitching because I'm a two-way player, so I pitch and I play outfield, so I get the bat. Or I'll jump into college football 25. I'll jump into like right now I'm playing Madden 25. So I don't really have a favorite on Xbox yet. I've only had this console not even a year yet.
Right.
So I don't really have a favorite. I like all of the games I have on here. I know one game that I don't like playing that I still have on my console, and that's Fortnite.
Oh, interesting. So Fortnite was not doing it for you, huh? I gotcha.
Here's the problem. I just mentioned GoldenEye. I came up in an era where, of course, you had the N64 where it wasn't like this controller. It had the little stem here, and you use that, the stick there, and you would use that to move around and shoot with the A button and stuff like that. I can't get with these new era, this new gen shoot FPS games where you got to use this stick to move laterally and this to move around and aim and all this stuff. My brain just cannot function that. I'm a 42-year-old father. I don't have a gunny. You're not gonna catch me playing FPS games because I'll get embarrassed by someone's 8-year-old child, and then I'll just break my whole console and be like, I'm done gaming. I can't do it. That's why I stick to sports games because they're much more simpler to me. To me.
Yeah, I hear that. It's tough to play those games. Like no matter how good you get it, you're never gonna be as good as like 65% of the people playing that game out there, especially if you play online. It's like you're gonna get smoked. We'll all get proverbially chopped at that game if we play.
I don't even play online on these sports games because I know I'll get smoked. Because I'm like, look, I'm having fun just playing on the moderate difficulty and stuff like that. I'm cool with that. I don't need to be playing on a hard difficulty. I don't need to be playing online and deal with some sweaty fuck that hasn't left their basement in 3 days and haven't showered in 6.
Yeah.
I'm cool. Like I'm having fun playing superstar mode where it's on the moderate difficulty and I can go out here and just have fun and wing it. That's what I do.
For real. Let me catch up on chat really fast. We got some good responses to that question too. Always a smile. Welcome in. Good to see you. Welcome. And Smarticus77, great to see you here as well, Hoke. Can we give a shout to Smarticus77 in our chat? All right, so Efot says, yeah, I got to go with Super Mario Brothers for NES. Classic, iconic game. Really great. Smarticus says, GoldenEye N64, best pause music in VGM history. Don't at me. I don't remember the pause music. Do you remember the pause music?
Yeah. For what?
For GoldenEye? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. The pause music for GoldenEye is freaking legendary.
I believe it.
Like a lot of people just pause on purpose just to listen to that song. It's just that good. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Smarticus is what is on it here. I love that. GameCube might have been Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for me. Eflat says. We were just talking about that game. Great game.
Yes.
Spartacus says, try being solely into PC gaming with keyboard mouse combo and then trying to use a dang gamepad. Yeah, that would be tough. It seems like Fortnite would be a better game.
Gaming with mouse and keyboard is like one of the most difficult things you can do. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because my son is 11 and he learned mouse and keyboard at the age of 9.
Wow.
Okay. I know grown adults who tried a mouse and keyboard and look like absolute bots. And my son is not. It was 9 and was playing Roblox on mouse and key.
Oh man.
So it's crazy to think about. That's a crazy thing. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember Doom when that was out? Like, it was kind of like
Yes,
the forerunner of
I
that.
played that game.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I played that game.
Yeah, yeah.
I played that game.
Yeah, solid game. I mean, really, really, really fun game. But that's kind of how I think that was the beginning of that format, like the beginning of the mouse and keyboard thing, like just moving, strafing, and whatever you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it does work.
Definitely.
But as you said, there's a lot to it. It's like it takes precision to play a game like that well. So it's actually really tough to do. Like, I think the last game I truly tried to play, using that kind of using that kind of set like kind of control, Duke Nukem 3D. Two things. One, I was horrible at it, but two, it got me so dizzy. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Like, so that's the last time I played full FPS. Like, I've not done anything quite like that. So for me, it's sports games or puzzle games, and that's usually what I stick to. But yeah, I mean, like, you got to get used to that too. Fortnite is a really good game, but if you can't master the controls, it's hard. So I'm with Champ on this one. It's tough. It's tough to play. It looks easier than it is. And EFOT's N64 might have been Mario Party or Star Fox. Now, those are great.
Mario Party and Uno have one thing in common. It's the type of game where you can lose friends.
No, for sure.
You play one of those two games with your friends, you're losing friends.
It does get contentious. Seriously. No, you ain't lying on that, man. Like, I remember going through some of that too. It gets intense. Oh, it's like a beat. It's like a trap beat of the original movie theme, the pause music. Yeah. I think it's starting to come back to me a little bit. Yeah. Raising them right, Champ. Exactly, Smarticus.
Trust me, I didn't teach him how to play mouse and key. He learned that on his own because I was, like I said, I didn't get back in the game until last year. So I definitely didn't teach him, but I'm glad that that was the route that he took to go mouse and key as opposed to controller and whatnot. Me personally, I couldn't play a game on mouse and key. It's just like trying to play Fortnite on a controller. My brain just can't function. I gotta hit this. I gotta remember what buttons. No, I can't do it. My brain don't function that way.
No, I understand. I totally feel it. When it's an adjustment for everybody, you know, like when you play completely different controllers, like me trying kind of like what you're talking about with the going to mouse and key. Like, I remember the first time I tried playing a game on PlayStation, maybe 2 or 3, or even Xbox, kind of the same idea, because you have like 2 joysticks on it. Like, well, how do I mean, I barely got used to one. Like, I have to get this other one. So I totally feel you. Duke Nukem 3D. Okay, so Smarticus says Duke Nukem 3D. The number of hours I spent playing that on LANs. Ah, man, those were the days. And then Smarticus says the last game I actually invested time in was Unreal Tournament. That's how long I've been out of real gaming. I remember a little bit of Unreal. Do you remember Unreal, Champ?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine. EFOT says Mario Party is absolutely diabolical, and I love that. You could land on a chance time space on the last turn and lose everything that you've earned to your opponent who could barely hold the controller right. Exactly what you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's the type of game you lose friends over because you have somebody never played the game and they'll get all your stuff and win when you've been carrying and doing everything the whole game. It's so annoying.
That's annoying. Oh my gosh. But having said that, if there was a way to get that on emulation and I could invite 3 other people to this apartment to play on stream, that'd be good. It'd be content, right? It'd be I mean, they won't be my friends anymore, but it would be good content for the channel.
No, I'm telling you something, Dave. You can get that and play it virtually. Please invite me so I can own all your assets.
I would love to. I would be honored. I would be honored. If there's a way to do that online, I would absolutely you are in. You would get first right of first refusal for sure.
There's one other thing I wanted to ask, but I know we got to rate out because I got to get ready for my my segment with Robbie in a bit. So, but I want to just quickly put this out there.
Okay.
Anybody who played Among Us, don't play with me. Because I am considered the Among Us imposter heavyweight champion.
Wow.
I hardly ever get sussed out as the imposter. I'm that good. I'm that good at lying.
Wow. That's
there
impressive.
are people who, anytime they bring up Among Us and I say I want in, they don't want me in because they know I will not get sussed if I'm the imposter.
Yeah. So be careful, tread carefully if you play Among Us with Champ, is what Champ is saying. And
exactly.
Yeah. Now that game, Kinks is Among Us divorce maker. Yeah, I think that's true too.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I'm looking at Robbie's stream right now, just making sure that we're clear to go over there. And they might still be talking hockey though, so I'm not sure yet. But
hang on, because I'm watching it right now and I'm listening.
Oh, you are too? Okay. Yeah. So we'll wait
I think they're wrapping up because I see that the little graphic of them showing the goals is down and they're back to like just them on the screen.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
They might be wrapping it up.
Okay, so let's wrap up as well.
And I'm gonna need time to make more tea.
Oh, for sure. So, Champ, I'm just gonna say this has been really fun tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. And we will see you in just a few minutes over at Robbie's because we'll raid over as well. So have a great spot with Robbie, and we'd love to hear Robbie's response to the duck hunt question. So we'll be
absolutely. It's been awesome to be on here. Like I said, I've caught a couple of the sandwich shows and stuff like that, and it was great to be on here to talk wrestling and talk other things other than wrestling. But like I said, I could sit here and talk wrestling for hours on end, to the point that people just get tired of hearing my voice. But that's just how passionate and how much I love wrestling. And so it was great to be on a platform and to be able to talk wrestling with someone who knows and understands wrestling like yourself.
Oh, yeah, I love it. And thank you for that too. I mean, it's, as a casual observer, I really am so appreciative and show much gratitude for folks who have enthusiasm in the sport. And it's truly been an amazing journey. So it means a lot. It means a lot that you share some of that enthusiasm and passion with us. And folks, just to repeat, if you want to learn more about our friend, use !guests and find out where to find the true No Spots podcast with DC's People's Champ. And you can catch our friends on Fridays. And what's your regular, or is it just Fridays, or is it another day too usually?
No, we typically record the podcast and stream live on Twitch on Sundays. But because of the Royal Rumble on Saturday and we were doing live reactions, we did it on a Friday.
Okay.
And we're going to do it on Saturday this coming weekend because of the Super Bowl and whatnot. But it's typically on Sundays. During the football season, it's at 7 p.m. because we tend to want to get started after the late game window closes. Even though people, we'll use the recording while the Sunday night game is going on. But once the football season ends, we start at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then, like I said, we do live reactions. And if we do a live reaction to a pay-per-view that has no pre-show matches, we tend to start 5 minutes before the show goes live. But if there are pre-show matches, then we go live at least 5 minutes before the expected first pre-show match is scheduled to go on. And then we'll live react to the pre-show and do that before the main show and stuff like that. So that's where we are. You can find us at twitch.tv/True No Spots Pod if you want to see some video game content and wrestling Q&A, and soon like some clips of our reactions to the Royal Rumble. Check us out at TikTok.com/@True No Spots Pod.
Sweet.
I think those are all my plans.
Yeah, that's pretty much the handle just about everywhere, right? Would that be true of YouTube as well, more or less?
I believe so. Okay.
So yeah, True No Spots Pod. Check out our friend Champ and Sith and everybody else that's part of that program. Good times. So thank you again, Champ. Last question before I let you go, and then you'll head off to Robbie's. So we'll catch you all over there.
Right.
this Super Bowl matchup coming up has got to be the most difficult for you in a while, right? Because it's like you have to pick between your heated rival with Philadelphia and the Chiefs, and it's like that's no way to live, man. Like I'm having a difficult time with it too. But like, what do you do? What is your move? Like, do you just hope that
You're right. That is no way to live, which is why I'm not rooting for either one of them.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna be driving Lyft and listening to the game on Sirius XM. That's how I'm gonna be spending my Super Bowl Sunday.
That's so much respect for you for that. Like honestly,
I'm gonna be making money and listen to the game on the radio.
Okay,
that's how I'm living my life.
That is good. I dig it a lot. Because you can't. For me, I can't root for either side either. Like why? You know what I said to my friends in the emails today. You know who I'm rooting for this game? The clock, because I want the game to be over. Like it just like the sooner it ends, the better it'll be. I think for everybody. So,
shout out to Gil, who's on Robbie's show right now, who put up a graphic that said ABC, anyone but the Chiefs.
That was my graphic. I did that.
Oh yeah, you did that.
Yeah.
Way, anyone but the Chiefs.
Anybody.
So shout out to you for that.
Thank
my
you.
bad.
Thank you. No, you're good. You're good. It was a moment of passion. I was just, I was kind of had enough. I've kind of had enough of the whole thing. So we'll see.
You want to hear something funny? You know who's rooting against the Chiefs harder than anybody else in the country? Raiders fans.
Oh wow. Oh, that's gotta
been a comedian, y'all.
That's gotta be rough for Raiders.
I could have been a comedian.
Yeah, that's gotta be rough for Raider fans.
I'm sure Raiders fans are rooting the hardest against the Chiefs because that's their main rival.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure they're hoping that the Eagles like beat the crap out of them.
Yeah. And it's a solid second place.
You know who's rooting hard against the Eagles though? The
Giants. It's an easy decision for the Giant fans. Like to see them win a title with Saquon Barkley,
to see Saquon win a title after the Giants let him walk. Giants fans are going to be sick if Saquon puts up the Lombardi Trophy. They are going to be sick.
Yeah,
you're going to have to put suicide watch on all of them. Okay,
that's rough.
They're all going to be on suicide watch if Saquon Barkley walks out of New Orleans with a suit with the Lombardi Trophy and gets a ring when the season starts coming. Giants fans are going to be on suicide watch.
Yeah, for real. That is rough. That's rough.
Tough,
and it didn't even take him that long. Like it was literally within halfway through the year, he's already setting a record for like the most rushing yards. Like he was on pace to break the record this year. It's incredible. Like it took him no time at all to like stick it to the Giants. It was amazing to see that. Yeah, Efot says you're gonna make bank driving left on Super Bowl Sunday. You're right. Yeah, you're gonna make all the bank. Like
yes, sir.
You picked a good move there. That's pretty good. Let's see. King says, the ring will end up on porn stars in 10 years. Which ring? Oh, the Super Bowl ring. Oh yeah. I see what you're saying.
That's crazy.
Honestly, kind of rooting for Saquon Barkley more than either team. I mean, that's fair. Like, he's a good guy. Like I like Saquon Barkley. Yeah. That's fair.
I loved all the clips that I was seeing online of him and his family.
Yeah.
And the first thing I saw was all the hate from people because he has a Caucasian wife. And I'm just like, you people are just idiots.
I mean, come on, people. Grow up. Ridiculous.
What are y'all going to say about me? My son's mother's white.
Mm-hmm.
What are y'all going to say about me?
Exactly.
Whatever you say about me, or whatever you're going to say about me, all I'm going to respond to is that my dick is bigger than yours and she loves it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And I dropped the mic on that.
That's good enough for me. I love it. Champ, thank you again. I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead and get ready for Robbie's spot. But it's been a blast. Have a good rest of your time. Come back anytime. Let me know. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers, my friend. That is Champ. Good times. We'll see Champ in just a few minutes over on the Robbie G Sports OTHP program. So we're gonna go ahead and read out over there now, and we're gonna check out check out Robbie's show, and then you will see Champ on the same show. So if you want to follow Robbie's channel, make sure to do so once we get over there. Thank you so much to King for your help with modding today. Just a couple of quick reminders. I mentioned that on Thursday we have the trivia contest, the NL trivia contest, the super mega trivia challenge. And if I didn't type all my OBS scenes into this game, that's how much That's how much technology is going to be involved in this game. I don't even have like a scene to put the graphic up because they're all being. I've already set them all up for the game. This is going to be the most spectacular game show of all time, featuring 14 people divided into 2 teams competing for all the prizes. And the team with the most points wins. It's gonna be an amazing, really fun time. We had a practice run on Sunday. It was hilarious. It was you aren't even ready. It's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be unhinged. It's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be a great show. But I also want to mention that tomorrow we are back here with the new Q&A, and tomorrow we are gonna have Storm and Key on the program. So our pal Stormin will be here to chat with us. This is our first interview with Stormin. So really excited to get Stormin on the program. And another program note, we have rescheduled next week's show with Rick DeVoice to March because of there's like a thing that Rick had to attend to. So but you're gonna see Rick DeVoice on Thursday for the trivia. So we will have Rick on really soon on our program. So with all that said, good night for now. If you want to find out the latest schedule and when everything's on, use our Discord, !Discord to find out more. Thank you so much for hanging out with us too, Ryan. Give a shout out to Ryan, that E-Fat guy. Go follow our good friend. That might have been the best closing remark of any game. Seriously, right? Champ with the mic drop. Like, that's a legit mic drop. That was awesome. So we're gonna play out. We're gonna play out here. Thank you, friends. Have a shout at Ryan. Well done, King. We will see you soon. Thank you so much, everybody. I do appreciate it. No, not this one. There. We'll use this music to play us out. So we're going to start the raid. We're going to go over to Robbie's. Go follow Robbie when we get there. And we'll hang out with Champ there too. So it should be really fun. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. We'll be back here tomorrow with Storm and Key. And in the meanwhile, stay cool, everybody. Stay cool. Or stay warm, actually. Stay warm is more accurate because like it's cold everywhere. But so stay warm. And we'll catch you soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah, see you again too. Smarticus. Shout out to Smarticus. Glad the convo went well. Have a great night, my friends. Always a smile. Good to see you too. See you again soon as well. Take care, friends. We're back here tomorrow night, though. Don't miss it. And we'll see you at Robbie's. Make sure to follow Robbie when you get there. Bye, everyone. See you next time.